everyone, my name is Coley, and I made a Scooby-Doo Nuzlocke. And you're probably wondering, what does that even mean? Well, there's this game called Scooby-Doo Night of 100 Frights. I grew up with it, and have been speedrunning it for the past 5 years now. But lately I've been thinking, how can I up the ante? I know, why not make a really difficult mod, like super difficult. And the hardest mods that I knew were Nuzlockes, where if I die, I have to start all the way back at the beginning of the game, even if I'm at the final boss. But I was afraid that this would still be too easy. So I added more things to make it even harder. And then jump. Ah! Yeah, this mod probably shouldn't exist. So I'll bring up some of the rules as we go, but here's the rundown. I only have 1 health. I have to 100% complete the game, which means I have to collect all 13 items, 21 monster tokens, beating all 4 bosses, and eating all 6,684 Scooby Snacks. Wow, that was a sudden jump there. Okay. Additionally, enemies also take an extra hit and respawn. On top of the permadeath rule, I cannot save the game at all. I have to do it all in one go. And I hear you saying, Coley, this is great and all, but is this actually a Nuzlocke? And the answer is, I don't know. You can argue yes or no, I get it. But for the sake of this video, I'll just die on the hill and say that it is. If you want to complain to me in the comments, I'm just here to have fun, right? This is gonna be fun. Anyway, huge shout out to Mortal, who helped create this mod with me. This video and mod wouldn't exist without him, so please go check out his YouTube channel in the link below. And with that out of the way, it's time to begin the Scooby-Doo Nuzlocke. Three, 2, 1. Go. To start the challenge, we went to the tutorial level to collect these Scooby Snacks and then entered the first level in the manor. We hear this girl Holly cry for help, and we get this key to unlock the door she's behind and just have a quick chat with her. Okay. Oh, Scooby, what are you doing here? These monsters seem a lot stronger than before. Are you lost? Did you want this map? Well, if I were you, I would turn back now. Oh my god! Well, that was unexpected. Why was the Holly mastermind? What? Hold on, we gotta go back in there. But okay, I guess the mastermind's here, and it doesn't look like that we're gonna be getting the map anytime soon, so I guess we'll just go our merry way. Well, now to get to our first real attempt, avoiding the psychopath over here, and getting our first upgrade of the game, the shovel. We can then take this key and enter the dock levels. Now there's something that immediately raises a problem here. Sandwiches. These sandwiches have been doused in red 40 and hot sauce, which kills Scooby even at the slightest touch. And we are immediately confronted with a sandwich blocking our path, with a sharp hook swinging in the way. The worst part is, I only have a single jump right now, so I need to be super careful when I make my move. Oh! Okay, we can do it. All right, now this wouldn't be the last time we run into an issue with sandwiches, and in the very next room, we encountered another problem. There's a Scooby snack in the sandwich. Which one of you put this here? Huh? Who was it? I can't just avoid this snack. I need it to beat the mod. So, what do I do? Okay, and that works. We can move through the level and get the next power-up, the springs, which gives us a double jump. Finally, some more mobility. So with some items already in hand, it's a good time to explain the route we're planning on taking. This game is essentially a Metroidvania, and if we do certain glitches and exploits at specific times, we can really break the order in which we do things. For example, jumping over this invisible wall, it skips all of this, 25% of the entire game. Now we have to go through all of these levels anyway, but a lot of these levels require you to go back with certain items in order to 100% them. So if we break the order in which we go in these rooms, we can greatly reduce the amount of backtracking to not only beat the mod faster, but it also gives us less chances of entering a dangerous room and dying. So with this in mind, I decided to follow the 100% speedrun route for this game. So that means we need to go into the hedge maze and 100% the greenhouse and hill levels on the way to getting the next power-up, the helmet, which will allow us to push buttons, break obstacles, and kill enemies. So in the beginning of the hedge maze, these levels were a breeze. And hey, look, it's Don Knotts. And he gave us our next item, the lampshade and slippers. It allows Scooby to hide from enemies and sneak by places where monsters could jump scare you. This is an item that's actually pretty useless in the vanilla game, but in this mod, it could be pretty useful if we're in a sticky situation and need some help. So let's not forget that we have this item when we need it the most. After blasting through this room and this room, we get to Shaggy's lawnmower thrill ride. We hitch a ride with our best friend, but be super careful not to land in the thorns below. And we want to collect all the Scooby Snacks in this room, or else we'd have to go through the whole room over again. But we are god gamers, and now enter the greenhouse levels. These levels are where the levels in this game get a little cramped, which makes them a little more dangerous. But I need to 100% these rooms to reduce backtracking, and I can do that with this glitch here, where on a specific version of the GameCube game, we can clip into these boxes and get back here early to collect these snacks. But this whole place is surrounded by thorns, and I needed to be super careful. We'll see how helpful that... Oh no, dude, I skidded accidentally, fuck. Okay, get ready for a lot of that, guys. Well, I guess that's just how this is gonna go. And after a few more failed attempts in this section, we realized that these rooms have so many obstacles that it's just too difficult to 100% these levels with the items we got. So Chat and I decided once we have other items, we should come back for the snacks later. So, new plan. We're just gonna beeline it to the helmet so we can at least kill enemies. But wouldn't we still need to go through these levels to get the helmet anyway? Actually, there's a much faster and less stressful way. On this side of the world, all of these levels are in one big circle connected by a shortcut right here. The game intends you to unlock this shortcut after going through all of these rooms, which allows the gate to be open. However, we can go backwards through these shorter levels by clipping through the gate by just holding up left on the D-pad. Yeah, it's that easy. And now that we've broken the sequence, it's time to go backwards through these levels, the Skull Cliff levels, which can be a little tricky. One thing is that these levels are meant to be traversed with 2 items we don't even have yet, both of which allows us to kill enemies. But this game also has fixed camera angles, and because we're going through this level backwards, it's kind of hard to see what's in front of us. But we have some tricks up our sleeves. First, we can go out of bounds in the first level we'll encounter, Skull 4, which is one of the largest levels in the game. Now, avoiding things out of bounds is nice, but it gets even better with the help of a Void Warp. And teleport to the very start. It's called a Void Warp. Void Warps are magical. It's a failsafe put into the game to bring Scooby back into a level if he happens to fall into this void, and it usually puts you back at the intended beginning of the level. This means we can skip this entire room without even encountering a single enemy. The rest of the levels here are also pretty straightforward, and because of my speedrunning knowledge, I knew exactly where the enemies would be and the safest path to take. I don't think anybody. Oh. Okay. Holy shit. But after the cliff, we finally made it to the hill. We fearlessly climb its peak and reach our next item, the helmet. Finally, we can kill enemies. Kind of. So one of the features of this mod is that Scooby's stun animation after using the item is dramatically longer, making me more vulnerable after attacking. So if I attack, I need to make 100% sure that I'm safe to do so. Additionally, while some enemies can get stunned when they're hit, others don't. So if I hit an enemy that doesn't get dizzy, I'm just charging into my own grave. In order to kill every enemy, we need an item that will allow us to deal damage and make a clean getaway. This happens to be the next item we'll get, and it's called the Super Smash. This gives Scooby a ground pound, which will not only allow us to kill every enemy, but also jump off of them and press vertical buttons, which we'll need to do that in multiple parts of this game. I was desperate for this item, but to get it, we need to look at the complete other side of the map. The item is contained in the lighthouse level here, and to get there, we need to go back through the dock levels, through the fish cannery and the coast levels. Now, usually we would need to clear out the Mystic Manor before we can even enter these levels, but this jump over an invisible wall mentioned earlier skips the manor and goes straight into the cannery, which is great. But these levels can get pretty tough. Slippery floors, moving platforms, and the sea creatures. Ugh, the most obnoxious and overused enemy in the entire game. But this mod makes these levels worse. A lot of levels actually, because throughout the entire game, there are enemies that are actually in many levels that are disabled and are almost always for the better, but this mod brings them all back. We've already seen one, which is this random creeper in the manor, but this is the first time it's really like impacting us here. In every fishy room, there's additional sea creatures trying to chase us down. Ideally, now would be a good time to 100% these rooms, which honestly, I haven't 100%ed any room yet, but this shouldn't be that bad, right? I can 100% everything. I can get everything in this room right now. So I feel like I should try doing that because I don't really want to. Oh my God, where is everybody? Hi. Okay, I really don't want to come back here. Although admittedly with the umbrella, this will be kind of nice. All right, I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna hug this wall because I know there's some fish enemies that spawn there. Oh wait, I do need that. Let's go. Okay, from that camera angle, I also didn't see some fish. So ideally, okay, hello. Okay, and there's another one. Oh, and you're right by a snack. Oh no! Okay, rerouting time. The new plan is to beeline to all the items in the game we need, and once suited up, we'll just start 100%ing the rooms, which will ideally be much safer. But we still run into a little snafu here. We still need to get to the lighthouse levels, and this is the best pathway to go. So regardless, we still have to go through these fishy levels. Or do we? The answer is something I need to do all the way back at the beginning of the run. In fact, I can do it in the very room that we got that snack from the sandwich. The trick is called Fishy Skip. Take a look. But all I need to do is stay right here. Nice. Cool. So it's another one of these void warps like in Skull 4, but why this room? And how am I not dying? See, this room is rather strange. It acts as sort of a crossroads in the game, and you usually enter here once you get the springs, and another time to unlock the shortcut back to the dock levels after you beat the fishy levels. But when you get here the first time, this shortcut is blocked by an invisible wall, and because of the void warp, it happens to put me on the other side of the room past the invisible wall, which allows me to skip the fishy levels. But how do I even clip through the water? I mean, this usually kills Scooby. Well, it's not exactly clear how water works, but if you're in a freshly loaded room, and when you fall at the right place at the right time, you can clip through the water. This room happens to have a great visual cue. So when the crab gets to this barrel, we can walk off from here and clip through very consistently. The catch though is that I need to do this right after I get the springs, because once I leave this room with that item, I can't get back in without the Super Smash power-up, which means I would have to go through the fishy levels. So after we do this trick, and as luck would have it, we can unlock this warp gate at the end of Fishy so we can fast travel here once we get the helmet. So boom, Fishy skipped. For now. We'll have to come back here eventually. So with this new route change, it was time to start getting some more progress and go right to the coast levels, which are difficult, but not nearly as gruesome as the fishy levels. Coast 1 is pretty straightforward to do if you tread with caution. We ran into some tight spots, but it wasn't anything we couldn't do. But then came Coast 2, where there were so many obstacles and enemies, death was practically waiting at my doorstep. But I had a bold idea. Okay, I'm just gonna go speedrun mode here because I am comfortable doing that. I will have to come back here later anyway. If I go speedrun mode here, I shouldn't get hit. Oh! Okay, so I have to say, out of all the deaths in this challenge, you think it'd be like a boss fight or enemies that kill me the most? No. Sandwiches are surprisingly a huge chunk of my deaths. And I think it's because when speedrunning the game or playing the game casually, you never really cared about the sandwiches because they don't negatively impact you. That lack of knowledge combined with a gracious hitbox means that so many extra deaths happened when they really didn't need to. But thankfully, a few attempts later, I made it back here with a much safer plan. Okay. We've made it. I'm so happy. The next coast level was child's play compared to the previous level, and we finally made it into lighthouse territory. After going down the beaten path, we entered the lighthouse where the next item harbors. Pun entirely intended. To get the Super Smash, we need to press this button to raise the light bulb and race to the top to break it and then collect the item. However, there's a lot of enemies in the way, but thankfully, we have a great trick up our sleeve. When charging, Scooby's body becomes invincible and allows us to snake by these enemies so long as we don't stick around for too long or charge directly into them accidentally. So, we easily made it to the top, and we finally got the Super Smash. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Okay, I don't know what sandwiches are below me. How do I want to get down? Hello, camera. Okay. Oh, that fish! Okay, all the way over here should be good. No! Okay. Thank you. With the items we have currently obtained, we can really go for any item we want at this point, thanks to a ton of speedrun strats and glitches. But the correct answer is to get this item, the umbrella. This allows Scooby to float and glide around, which is so useful. With this item, moving around in a level would be significantly easier and make 100%ing these levels a breeze as well. The umbrella is back on the other side of the world where we need to go through the graveyard levels and beat the green ghost boss fight. Usually, this is when we would go through the Skull Cliff levels, but because of our cool shortcut we unlocked earlier, we can actually beeline straight through the cave levels, which leads to the graveyard levels. But the door we need to get to is blocked by this slippery slope, which we would usually need the plungers to get there. Notice how I said usually, because yeah, we're gonna break the game again. We'll just lure this sea creature over to the ramp and use the Super Smash to bounce off its head and just barely reach the door's trigger. Nice. Our next big hurdle is this monolith, known as Misbehavin' 3. It's a super long auto-scroller where the water rises to the top and there are a lot of snacks to collect. But there's also this item which we need to collect at the top of the level as well. I wonder what it does. But before I explain that, a caveat of this level is that it only goes one way, and going back to the level would require major backtracking, which could be very risky and time consuming. In our scenario, it would be super great if we were to get all the snacks while we're here, which it should be pretty straightforward to do. I just want to say. I feel it coming. Ah! I said, it should be fairly straightforward to do. Not a big deal. And there we go. Oh, dude, okay, this power-up is so good. I was pretty excited about this item because it basically gives me a safety net. It's an upgrade for the Super Smash, and if I somehow miss ground pounding an enemy, then it will send a subtle shockwave and make the enemy dizzy for a brief period of time. It was a forgiving game mechanic, and it was a nice change of pace from the ruthlessness this mod has been showing. So now, with that out of the way and a great looking arsenal, we've made it to the graveyard levels. These levels are pretty simple, with very few enemies in our way and easy platforming, and I was feeling pretty confident. But I got a little too cocky and I made a stupid mistake just 2 levels away from the boss fight. Sure. I'm waiting for a zombie to come back. And this was a common problem in these attempts where, well, I was cocky, but also the camera angle. It would mess me up completely. I had to learn the hard way that I needed to be more careful and turn around every corner with caution. Between the camera and the sandwiches, I was just throwing attempts in the trash, and I was getting pretty frustrated. But after a few hours, we finally got back to the crypt and got to the Green Ghost boss fight. This boss fight requires us to have everything aligned perfectly because everything is random. To deal damage to the boss fight, we needed the Green Ghost to hover over a coffin, have Daphne open the coffin, have Audrey 2 not spit toxic gas over the button, and we have to press that button to activate the coffin. All of these things are RNG, which is actually just like the normal vanilla game, but there's a catch. Green Ghost moves twice as fast as it normally does. Daphne moves twice as slow as she normally does, and the vortex lasts half the time it usually does. So with all of this to balance, it's just a test of endurance. And now I just have to jump in and try and beat it. All right, here we go. Oh, I don't need that. That's the worst thing I could have done. I'm so used to doing that for the sake of health, but I can't have health. Why did I do that? That sucks if it's gonna go in the middle. Which it will, but... Dude, that is brutal. Well, at least we got one hit in. While I was upset, I couldn't be too hard on myself because it was a new personal best. And if I could get there once, I could get there again. And that was the end of the first stream, which honestly saw the most progress out of any day. And yeah, I stream these challenges to Twitch and YouTube, so if you want to check those out, there you go. So anyway, getting to the first boss fight, that took 7 hours. Shit. So the next day, I got back on the grind, and eventually I was able to get back to Green Ghost, but I died again. I tried to think of an item we could get to help with this boss fight, but there just wasn't one. This is what they call a good old-fashioned skill issue. But I did notice that I died the exact same way, failing to dodge that laser beam. See, this boss has 5 movement points that it can go to, and these 2 in particular are the only places where the Green Ghost can shoot that laser beam. So at least I know where the attack will come from, but how do I avoid getting hit by it? Well, during that last attempt, I noticed when I pressed this button, the beam went right over my head. The middle of this level is lower to the ground and is perfect for Scooby to limbo underneath the beam. And I mean, I guess I knew about this, but I never really thought about how helpful that was until I only had 1 health to spare. So what if the best strategy was just doing nothing at all? And thankfully, it didn't take me too long to get back. Okay, cool. And I don't want to hit the urns because they have the sandwiches in it. Okay, going under the electricity is great. I kind of forgot you could do that. Oh, I missed that. That sucks. That's okay, though. Okay, nice. Let's hit number 2. Oh my god. Come on. No! That didn't count! Go in the middle. Yay! We did it! We beat the Green Ghost! Oh, finally! Oh my god, okay, whew. Okay, when I remembered that you could go under the electricity, that made this a whole lot better. Oh! We have the umbrella. That's fantastic. Okay. I can't celebrate too early yet. I feel like Redbeard is what is going to determine whether or not this continues forward. So Redbeard, usually the 3rd boss of this game, is on the complete other side of the map, but in the shipwreck levels. Now, there are 2 reasons why I want to go here next. One is to get the bubblegum power-up, which will allow me to stick enemies in place and bounce on them like a trampoline, all by keeping a good distance from them. But the reason why I want to go here next is that this boss is gonna be fucking insane. Admittedly, I underestimated the difficulty and time sink the Green Ghost gave me. Each attempt is like 30 minutes now, so it took me hours to get to this point. And you know what? Listen, I'm not a game designer by any means, and Green Ghost was one of the first modifications I made to the game, so I kept it simple. But Redbeard was one of the last things I altered. But my ideas and ambition was on overdrive. Like, this guy is loaded. You'll see how in a minute. But first, we need to get to his pirate ship. And to get to Redbeard, we would usually have to go through the wreck and gas levels, and then climb into Redbeard's ship and enter the cabin. But we can use a speedrunning strat called Ship Skip to get there really fast. In the very first shipwreck level, there's actually a shortcut that leads to a level just before Redbeard. There's these invisible walls blocking the doorway, which only disappear after you beat the boss. However, these walls only go so high. So if there was, say, a conveniently placed platform that was as high as the walls right next to it, then we could just jump right to the door. And that's exactly what we're gonna do. If we precisely double jump and ground pound to this pole here, we can just barely get enough height and distance to jump up and be on our merry way. Taking the shortcut, we reach a gas 3, which has the entrance to Redbeard's ship. But the safer thing to do instead is actually go through the exit of the boat's cabin, which is also the exit door for Redbeard. This is safer since we're gonna skip a level, and when we enter the boss fight, we'll be in a safe area until we enter the battlefield and face Redbeard. But in order to do this, we're gonna have to jump on some collision and hop onto this invisible ledge, which is actually lodged in an invisible wall just outside of the boat. We can clip through this wall and clip out of bounds, run to the poop deck, and jump into this conveniently placed hole, which is here for some reason. And from this hole, we can glide over the water and to the wall, where we can jump onto some invisible ledges on the other side to make it to the door's trigger. And believe it or not, yeah, everything we just did is actually more convenient for us right now. And now it's time to see why I was so afraid of Redbeard. So for context, this is how the boss fight usually goes. There are 4 parts to this fight. Each part has a wave of ghosts, then the Moody's spawn, Redbeard throws his sword, you get him to cut a rope, and after each part, they add more enemies, and once you cut the 4th rope, you win. But now... okay, but I need to clip through here. So if you haven't noticed, there's 8 ropes. And you know what that means? I need to go through 8 phases of the boss. And every enemy takes 2 hits. So, yep. Here we go. If I mess up one of these Super Smash hits, then it's done. Or that happens. Yeah, there is no way. No way, bro. You know, I just thought of something that could be very helpful. What just clicked for me was getting a potentially very useful item that most people often overlooked: the soap. The soap is usually the last item you get in the entire game, and it's basically the same thing as the gum, except you could stand on top of the enemy instead of bouncing off of them. But the more important part here is that you can trap the enemies. See where I'm going with this? I have to kill all of these enemies to get Redbeard to throw his sword. But if I can use the bubbles as sort of a crowd control, then that can make the boss fight significantly easier to deal with. To get the soap, I need to go into the depths of the manor's basement. But there's a problem. The intended entrance is only accessible once you beat Redbeard. But there just happens to be one other way to the basement. If we enter the creepy hallway levels from the lighthouse, there is a door which acts as a shortcut to the basement level Gus 2. Unfortunately, the door is blocked by a gate. A huge gate. So huge, it's kind of a miracle we can't just squeeze through the bars. But no clip for this gate really exists. So if we can't clip through the gate, and there's no place to go under the gate, maybe we could just go over the gate. Jumping to this specific ledge, we'll jump up here to this secret nook, and if we turn the control stick at just the right angle while jumping, we can clip out of bounds. Then when we're here, we can just jump along the roof and hit the trigger for the gate to open, so we never have to do this again, and enter the load zone to enter the basement levels. Finally. It's time to go get that soap. Gus 2 is a pretty simple level. We press this hidden button that looks like a barrel, float up with the umbrella to get the keys, and avoid the enemies to enter the cellar. In the first part, we can just jump onto this box, to the swing, and then reach the door. In part 2, we can bonk on these space kook's head to activate the buttons, and grab the... No! You cannot tell me that there's a sandwich above that enemy. Oh my god.
6.5 hours later.
Let's go. Oh, what? Like, how? Is this possible, bro?
One eternity later.
You guys suck. Fuck you, Ryan. I don't, okay. All right, let's just go. You're right. Let's just go. Yes! Get out of here! Oh! Okay. Okay. Calm yourself. Finally! After like 5 hours, I finally got past through that room. The next level was pretty straightforward. Press this button and collect the keys to unlock the next room. Thankfully, if Scooby's charging, he's invincible to the ghosts, which makes this section a lot more bearable. Why not get the gum first to deal with the space kooks? I wonder why. You're serious? I'm getting the soap so I can fight Redbeard. I need the enemy control. I've spent all this time trying to get the soap, but I forgot that Captain Moody's are the only enemy in the game that aren't affected by the soap. I have wasted hours, actual hours, getting to this level only for this to be how it happens. Were you really gone every time I've ever talked about what my plan is? So after all of that, hours of trying to get to this point, it doesn't even matter. Well, that's just great. There's no other item in the game that could possibly help me with Redbeard, and it would be foolish to try and do anything else in this mod if Redbeard isn't even capable of being beaten. It was time to go back and face my demon waiting for me. Get ready. I'll probably die pretty quick. I would not be surprised if this is the hardest part of the entire mod. Because if I hit, oh my God, dude. I don't even know how to hit these guys. They're right next to each other. Oh, dude. And it takes me a half an hour to get to each attempt. I knew to beat this boss fight, I was gonna need to get the reps in and to figure out how to beat this guy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. But it was at this point in the run where a different kind of hurdle emerged that hasn't affected me so deeply until now. Endurance. These attempts were at a point where it takes so long to get to Redbeard, and I need to play perfectly each time or else it's right back to the starting line. To cut some time, I implemented a different strategy to get the helmet as fast as possible. Hedge gate clip. In the very first hedge maze level, there's this gate, and it blocks the shortcut that leads directly to the level with the helmet, except the gate only opens from the other side. But there is one way to clip through the gate consistently, and that's with lag clipping. By pausing and unpausing the game over and over and over again, you have the potential to lag the game and clip through the gate. This trick basically makes a straight shot to the helmet and skips everything. And you might be wondering, why didn't I do this before? The honest answer really is, this trick is just annoying. Sometimes you get it instantly, sometimes you spend 20 minutes waiting for the game to cooperate, and it's tiring. You have to spam the hell out of your controller, but it's technically safer and potentially faster, so we started going for it. And for whatever reason, my chat decided to use the time to... we don't need to have a group. We don't need the Twitch chat to be doing all this. This is, dude, this is not, stop, guys. Don't need to do this. Anyway, even with this gate clip, it still wasn't making things that much faster. So after spending a few hours trying to get back to Redbeard again, chat and I made a decision. I gotta practice this boss fight, guys. It just, I need to get the reps in. Like, I need to figure it out. Throughout this challenge, I refrained from doing any kind of practice outside of a real attempt. But I was gonna make no headway if every attempt at Redbeard would take so long to get to. So the new rule is this. I can use saves only to practice, and I can only practice at a level that I've already been to in a real attempt. That way, I couldn't just sit down and practice the whole game without even having the opportunity to fairly get there. Now, the mod does have a feature where you can forego the challenge and turn on the save machines. But since I was playing on an emulator, I opted to use the save states instead. So after practicing for a few hours, I noticed crucial details about the boss fight. First was a solution to the main problem, the Moody Ghosts. Every time I hit a Moody Ghost once, the enemy takes a brief moment to stop. This small time frame was incredibly lucky because it gave me an opportunity to escape when I hit them. To defeat these Moody Ghosts, I just need to get enough height, hover over to them quickly, hit them once, and then run away immediately so that the cycle begins anew. The only thing I need to be careful is when other enemies are chasing me, and that brings me to the next hurdle, and arguably the worst part of the entire boss fight. So after the 4 Moody Ghost waves, we forego the normal ghosts in between them, and they change into these blue Moody Ghosts instead. They're a kind of ghost that flies around the room at random, instead of the same pattern every time. This is pretty daunting, but we quickly found a cheese spot here on this broken window cover, where most of the time, the ghost can't reach us. After each enemy wave, the number of Moody Ghosts increases, so our odds at this cheese spot working kind of diminish over time. But what about the enemy waves themselves? The first 4 phases add a Moody Ghost each time, just like the normal game. But the extra phases add a different enemy. In phase 5, there's also a sea creature. The next phase adds a witch, then a tar monster, and then the final phase adds one more tar monster on top of that. These enemies make this plan of attack much more difficult to pursue. Most of these enemies have some sort of projectile, which could get in my way before, during, and after I make a move. There's also some additional things, like the sea creature is especially huge, and it takes 3 hits, where all the other enemies take 2. This fishy also has its hit points restored if it's not killed fast enough, which means I can't whittle away at its health like I can with the other enemies. I have to deal with all of these factors for each enemy while making sure I have enough room to hit them and to get away. And each phase will just add more and more factors to look out for. But this being my circumstances, I found that my best plan of attack was to run away. I mean, what the fuck? Do you expect me to go in there guns blazing? Hell no! After literally circling around this room forever, I learned that that's actually probably the easiest thing to do. It was during my first practice session where I started to conjure up what would become what I called the ring around the rosy. See, the enemies are just gonna take the closest path to you they possibly can. So if you move around wide enough, they'll eventually come after you in a straight line, which makes hitting an enemy much less riskier than when they're side by side in a group. While sometimes I didn't understand what was safe and what wasn't, it was the start of something. This plan simplified the approach, and I could do this plan no matter how many enemies there were. The other nice thing about this strat is, if I don't attack because it's unsafe to do so, I just need to move around the room again until I get an opening. However, the longer I spent in this boss fight, the more pressure I would feel toward the end of the fight. These strategies aren't perfect, but after defeating the boss a few times in practice with the save states, I thought it might be worth getting in some real attempts. And I was really curious to see how much my practice had paid off. Okay. All right, we'll break this first. Just gonna wait for these phases to come through. I can just hold down here and all these ghosts won't be a problem. All right, we're gonna break this rope. Okay. I'm gonna get rid of this rope so I just have some more room to walk around. And then on this phase, I would ideally like to get the northernmost rope. I don't know why I'm so scared and I haven't even done half of the boss yet. I won't get there in time, but that's okay. Okay, and then we get to here, because this phase is random. Okay. Okay. And now we just do the same thing that we did in phase 4. Alright. Hurry, 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 hurry. Okay. Okay. Hit the witch first, do the ring around the rosy. Ooh, that rope is kind of weird. Okay. Slow and steady wins the race here. Okay, get to the corner, get to the corner. All right, there's a tar monster on the right side. Go wide at first, then go back to ring around the rosy. Play it safe. Just play it safe. Get a witch hit first. Get a witch hit first. Go wide. Okay. Thank you for telling me. Ugh. I was really tempted to go for that sea creature, but I knew that that witch was around. Okay, regroup. Okay, perfect. Let the fish right there. Distract that. Moody should be dead. That's good. Go! Oh! 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 Oh, you. Okay. Okay. Chill. All right, you're gonna attack. Okay. Try to blink. That's fantastic. Okay. I'll do this real. All right, one more phase left. Oh. Okay. Hit the witch. All right, go all the way far. Let's regroup. Regroup. Okay. Distract these guys. Hit the moody ghost. We can hit him again. Nice. Okay. Okay, the fish should be good. Hit you guys. Okay, this is really good. I just don't know what to do first. Alright, let's just ring around the rosy here and see what I need to do. Okay. Avoid the tar monsters. Have them attack. No, dude, no! I pressed B and it didn't do anything! No! I'm speechless. That was the easy part, too. That was the easy part. Oh, so unbelievably close. The practice paid off, but the failure stung just as much. But I got so far into the fight, and if I practiced more, I was sure I would be able to do it again and beat him. So for the next 3 days, I tried to understand the nuances of this boss fight to ensure exactly when I should attempt to attack or lay back. But soon, I began to see this pattern emerging. In attempt 97, I made it to the final phase, and I died making a foolish mistake trying to get around the tar monster. In the very next attempt, I died to the tar monster again because of depth perception. And I realized I really had no idea how to deal with these guys. I kind of just made it up every time. And I think the reason is that I was always afraid that these guys would shoot a tar ball at me when I made my move to attack. But then I also saw moments like this. They just did their attack animation without throwing anything. If I was scared that I couldn't dodge their attacks in time, what if I just made them not attack at all? The problem was I wasn't really sure why this even happened in the first place. My first thought is that it had to do with the fire Redbeard emits when you get too close to him, since that and tar run off of the same particle system stuff. And it did work sometimes. I wasn't convinced that this was the reason why this was happening though. But then someone in my chat made a very key discovery and suggested that once you get out of range of the tar monster before he attacks, but while starting his animation, then the projectile is canceled, but the animation isn't. And sure enough, they were exactly right. Abusing this priority of the animation over the projectile made these tar monsters so much easier to handle. And I finally had a plan to make the last 2 phases much simpler. So with all this newfound knowledge, I felt like I really did have a shot at beating this boss. I just need to put the attempts in and put all the pieces together. Okay, all right, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I really don't think I'm gonna beat this guy. I feel like I'm too nervous right now. All right. Let's lock in. Let's do it. Here we go. All right, stay loose, man. Don't fret. All right, man, that was really long. That's okay. We're still alive. That's what matters. Ugh, my thumb slipped off the controller. That was scary. Last phase. Chill, man, chill. We're so close. You don't need to fret. All right, nice. Okay, so we're just playing super safe. We're just gonna keep ring around the rosying it. So let's try and congregate together here. right. See, that's good. We played it safe. We didn't risk anything. Okay. You can do it. Nice. Just 2 tar monsters left. I'm not holding my breath, though, until we actually beat this boss fight. Don't you dare fucking think that this boss fight's over until these fuckers are dead. Alright. Just loop around. We're gonna play it safe. This might seem unnecessary, but it doesn't matter. Way better to be safe than sorry. Okay. Alright, do not miss this rope. And then... Ah! We finally beat Redbeard! Oh my god, dude! Attempt 104, we finally have half the bosses beat. Oh, I'm shaking everywhere right now. So with that, we finally beat our second boss fight and officially got the gum power-up. And while I didn't know it yet, this will be the most important item in the whole challenge. This might sound crazy to some of you, because in the vanilla game, the gum is one of the worst items. Since you get it so late in the game, it's immediately invalidated by the soap, and other things the gum can do, there's other items that can do it more conveniently. But after going through so many of these levels, it's insane how narrow a majority of these levels are, which means I have very little room to dodge and move around enemies. But with the gum, it makes it super easy to slide by an enemy and not get hurt. I was totally not expecting this item to work so well, but it is honestly the MVP of the entire challenge by far. But anyway, I couldn't celebrate for too long because now I need to go to the Mystic Manor. Next stop, the third boss, the Black. Oh yeah, the Mastermind's here. Come here, buddy. Jesus. Get over here, you bastard. I'm trying not to get hit by the things. Alright, well, we beat Mastermind. That's game. There we go. You defeated the Mastermind, I guess. You dropped a map of the grounds. How handy. So now we finally have the map after we have gone through all these shenanigans. So why was there all this trouble for a stupid map? This is the first thing you would usually get in the game, and it's just something in the pause menu. Well, it's locked because of a super OP speedrun strat called pause storage. It is one of the most powerful yet dangerous tricks to use in this challenge. It is a trick where you unplug the controller while pressing yes to quit the game at the same time, which brings up a second pause menu, which gives you the ability to fast travel whenever you want. And to clarify, I can only warp to places with the warp gate still, and I still need to go to the level to get the warp gate to fast travel there, but anyway. However, if I fail the trick and pull out the controller too late, I will quit the game, and of course, be forced to start all over. But because this takes place when the game is paused, I can potentially save myself from dangerous scenarios where no other escape could be possible. It could save me from certain death or ruin my attempt entirely. So I will only resort to using this powerful ability only when I absolutely need to. And hopefully that means I will never have to. But back on track here, the actual third boss is the Black Knight. And as is with every boss fight in this game, it's on the complete other side of the map. Yippee! But the nice thing is that this is usually the first boss fight. And because we have a lot of items we aren't supposed to have yet, we can actually get to this boss fight pretty quickly. So we'll go through the manor casually, but in the level called Mine 1, this is where we diverge from the usual order of things. Pressing this button to turn on a fan, and using the umbrella we got from the green ghost earlier, we can use an in-game shortcut meant for backtracking to skip all the way to the tower, which also skips all of these levels. The even more convenient thing about this shortcut is that at the top of the tower is actually where you exit the Black Knight boss fight. But to get up here, there are a ton of invisible walls and tar in the ground, which tar prevents you from running or jumping, so you can't reach the other side. But the speedrun community, of course, has already found a way around this, called Black Knight Early, or BKE. It's a super precise jump where you double jump and super smash for some extra distance. And you can just barely land on this super small wood ship that's apparently a platform. And with that, we're able to skip all of these levels in a pretty safe manner. All right, anyway, it's time to go head to head with the Black Knight boss fight. So what we're dealing with here is very similar to how the Green Ghost boss fight works. Wait for the guy to go over to a button, push the button, do it again. But with this boss, we actually have to do this 4 times instead of 3. And each button can only be used 1 time. There's also a lot more things that can keep us at a disadvantage here. One is that the boss now moves twice as fast, and his speed gets progressively faster after each hit. This might not look like much, but on top is the normal game, and on the bottom is the mod, each in their final phase. That's an insane difference looking at it like this. The boss also throws more axes during each phase as well. The increased speed means that he'll also get to a spot where he can throw axes faster, which causes more obstacles that need to be dodged in a faster time frame. And finally, the most glaring problem of all, my knockback animation for hitting each button is so long. I need to absolutely make sure that the coast is clear before I commit to pressing the button. But how am I gonna do that if the Black Knight is doing 7-minute miles, making it rain axes? And this is all RNG, by the way. Okay. So the Black Knight starts when I enter the trigger. If I press the buttons, it doesn't do anything. All right, maybe let's scout the room a little bit. How many sandwiches are there? There's 3, I guess. All right, I have a plan. So let's do the plan. All right, here we go. Black Knight, 3rd boss. This part's kind of anticlimactic. But now, all right, here's my plan. We're being little bitches. We're being little bitches. We're being such little bitches. So I'm gonna wait. So here's the thing is that he's gonna throw more axes every phase, right? So my strat right now is I'm just gonna wait for him to go all the way to the very left here. I'm gonna press that button, and then ideally, because you gotta remember, oh shit. I have that really long animation for bonking. So I can't just go around pressing buttons. And where he goes is completely random. I've come too far. Look, it's... Ah! I don't think the electricity does anything. It's double axes, but then it's like he starts chucking like 8 of them at the very end. Oh, this is bad. Ah! Retreat, go back, run away. Oh my god. Oh my... Ah! What? Okay. Oh my god! I didn't really think this part out. What do I do now? That was huge read. That was an incredible read. Okay, one more hit. If I beat this first try, I'm shitting myself. This guy's throwing 6 fucking axes. I didn't even see that! Where did I get hit by? Oh, I was so close to beating the boss! I didn't even see the axe that was thrown. Did you guys see that? I did not see that. I know, I didn't even see what hit me. It was just an axe. I didn't see it. It blended in with the gray background. Okay. Well, we need a new plan. And I mean, the cheese strat did kind of work, all things considered. I was just 1 button away. But honestly, I was kind of just flying around and I didn't really know what I was doing toward the end there. But after practicing the boss fight, it turns out what I did was actually the best plan. The first hit is free, and the best spot to do it is where there's less space to move around, as well as a bad camera angle. And while it could make the most sense to save the cheese strat for the final button, the Black Knight is just so fast that I would have no time at all to get the button without predicting ahead of time where he would go, and that's just too risky. So the second button cheese strat is here to stay. But what do I do about these 2 buttons in the middle? Well, Like a similar situation in Redbeard, this is really a matter of bobbing and weaving until the stars align. It is actually gambling with life and death. But that doesn't mean we're completely helpless. It just so happens that our enemy has some minor flaws that could just barely help us get the fight to go our way, and it all has to do with these axes. Now let me ax you something. When you see these things getting thrown, what do you notice? If you first examine the footage, you can see that these aren't just any random acts of violence. He throws the axes right at you, and he spreads them out horizontally, not vertically. So, the closer you are to the boss fight, the more room you have to retreat behind you. Now, it's too dangerous to always stay up close, but it can help us dodge attacks and leave an opening. But what's more exciting is that the fourth phase has something very interesting going on that I'm not really even sure how it works. In normal gameplay, this guy always throws his axes all at the same time. But for whatever reason, in this last phase, this boss always spreads out the first 4 axes and then throws the last 2 directly at me. This is actually extremely convenient because that means I can more easily dodge the first 4 and then trick the last 2 in landing basically wherever I want. Now you might assume that the last phase would be exhausting, but ironically, I found this phase of the boss fight to be significantly easier. And the third phase, I always seem to have the most trouble with. But that's all the tech here to explain, so let's move on from these excessive puns and try to bury the hatchet on this battle axe of a boss fight. All right, here we go. I'm gonna hit him all the way to the right. Great. And we could hit him again, but we're not going to. We're gonna cheese. Like that. That's perfect. Fuck, but I miss. He always goes so much faster than I think. It really throws me off. There's less of a chance for him to pass that button later. Ugh, dude. Jackass. All right, so now I'm just gonna wait for him to go, okay, like that. Awesome, I can't believe that hit. I'm waiting for him to go all the way to the left. Like that. Nice! Let's go! Black Knight. Okay, Black Knight is a joke. Maybe I got lucky, but I don't know. All right. Wow, dude. I honestly was not expecting that. So we have the galoshes now. This is fantastic. Which, I mean, admittedly, that doesn't really even do anything for us. All right, I'm just gonna get this warp gate. These sandwiches. But I don't really know what to do now. I mean, I guess I could. See, this is where I need to start making a decision here. Now, while being able to beat all 3 of these bosses is exciting, it's also bittersweet because now after 7 days of trying to beat all of these boss fights, I need to be able to collect all 6,684 Scooby Snacks while beating all of those boss fights and getting the rest of the items and monster tokens, all without taking a single hit of damage. At least now I know I can beat the boss fights, but I became stuck in what I'm calling the mid-challenge crisis. And my crisis was a routing crisis. See, after I get the umbrella, I can basically get to any level in the game that I want to, thanks to numerous speedrun strats and attacks. We talked about this before. I wanted to make sure that I did the best route possible. There were so many different options that I was bombarded by choice. Should I 100% this room before any of the bosses or that room? Should I beat Redbeard right away or at the end of the run? Should I get certain items before others? It was just really daunting because each choice had reasonable pros but terrible cons. And at the end of the day, there was just always a bitter pill to swallow. Which sucks. I'm stuck where I can't quit now. And so now I have to choose which terrible choice to make. Frustrated, I just went around and just explored levels I haven't been to yet to see what I would be in for. And maybe the answer would reveal itself to me. I went through a bit of manner, went to some levels first instead of others, but it didn't really help in any way. And I just became more frustrated. I feel like I was just moving backwards now. This challenge was taking up so much more time than I wanted to. And after all the work of making the mod and even playing the mod up to this point, I was not even halfway done with beating the game. I was overconfident and cocky as hell when making this mod, and now I'm paying the price. This was becoming more miserable than what I intended to be fun. There was a point in the stream where all of these thoughts just swam through my head, and I just needed to sit down, look at the situation, and what I would really be capable of. As much as I'd want to, I can't quit now, and I just needed to accept the hurdles that lay ahead. So I got out MS Paint and just started scratching notes down, just trying to visualize everything and use all of my knowledge of the game and my skill set to figure out what I should and shouldn't do. And this is what I came up with. I decided that I should just keep exactly doing what I've been doing, going to the bosses and beating them first, then 100%ing the levels. This has its pros and its cons. The pros is that I'll have more items to help me traverse through the world, especially with the umbrella and gum, but there's also a lot less pressure of having to do anything more challenging toward the end of the run. The cons are that 1, doing a boss rush will make the run a lot longer because I'll have to backtrack to more places. And 2 is that I will basically be failing a lot, and progress will be really slow at the start. My plan for Redbeard was to basically get so good at that boss fight and beat the boss so many times that it eventually just wouldn't feel like anything to me. We are training at 100 times gravity here, people, but I also threw something else into this boss rush, which was going to be the basement levels and getting the soap. That way, in case I run out of gum, I have the soap, which makes it a little more annoying to get around enemies, but it still helps me keep them under control. Also trying to collect as many snacks here as possible for a plan way later at the end of the run when I 100% these levels. So after the boss rush, I'll start hundoing the levels I think are trickier, and then hopefully by the end, they're mostly easy levels. Just like with Redbeard, my thought process was to get the bad out of the way, get better at those bad things, so then we don't have to stress about it later in the run. Then it'll be final boss time, and hopefully we'll win the game. Oh my God, seems like the best plan that we got, so let's do it. Oh yeah, but to actually see this plan get put into effect, we actually have to beat the boss fights all over again. So let's jump to 2 days later into attempt 162, when it finally happened. Where it's like, holy shit. Dude, that was the best Green Ghost boss fight I think we've had this entire challenge. All right, and Redbeard right there. Just run through. Soap is ours. Nice, let's go, let's go! That's all the bosses. We beat all the bosses in an attempt now. Oh, that's fantastic. Let's go. We got all these items now. It's time to 100% the rest of the game. And we'll start with the very easy mystery machine levels. Hopping through the playground and the front lawn, we easily got the 100% prompt and moved on to the first real levels, the dock levels. These levels are straightforward, but really tedious. A lot of moving back and forth in between the level. And also, when you get the springs, crabs spawn in this first level, making it a little more treacherous. But thanks to the umbrella, we could usually safely get them out of our way. The second level is also much easier the first time around, and having the galoshes from the Black Knight boss fight makes the secret backside of this level much easier, while also getting gum upgrades. These upgrade the maximum ammo for the gum, which is extremely useful. And while they're not required for 100%, we still want to get them because the gum is so useful. Next were the levels I have been brewing, the fishy levels. I'm a little bitch and I did Pier first instead, which was pretty simple. I had the galoshes so I could just comfortably walk everywhere and avoid the tar. And as long as I gummed the tar monsters and did everything casually, it was really simple. I could just, oh, I'm dead. Am I dead? I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. Why would they put an invisible wall there? Why would they put an invisible wall there? Why? 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 Oh my God, I should have had the... I can't have pause storage, I don't have the map! Okay, that sucks. I don't have the map, I didn't go get it! I didn't go get it because I took a different path to Black Knight! No! No, there's no way, bro, there's no way I live this. Oh! New plan, again, get the map before we even hundo anything. And I decided to get it right after Redbeard. I come back to the mystery machine after the boss fight anyway. Let's just make sure that we never make that mistake ever again. And thankfully, even though it was a stupid death, just a few attempts later, we already got back on the hundo train. That was surprising, and I was feeling really good. I felt like finally we're making good progress again, and I know what I'm doing. But now I decided to be the bigger man and actually go through the fishy levels. And now that I have the umbrella, it makes these levels a little more bearable. The conveyor belts are still kind of scary, but for the most part, they aren't too hard. And the sandwiches that are here aren't really in the way anymore. Even this sandwich that's in front of the button, it's not even a problem. If we charge onto this trampoline and then do a double jump with a glide afterwards, we can get to this sneaky secret top section here and get the Tar Monster token and the Scooby Snacks. Part 2 doesn't have the best camera angles to see what's ahead, but the added enemies don't really get in the way, and we can easily get all the snacks here as well. The same goes for Part 3. Part 4 had some pretty tough conveyor belts due to these flying fish being in very inconvenient spots, and besides the gargoyles raining hellfire on me, Fishy was surprisingly pretty laid back for my expectations. And I was feeling so relieved to see how manageable those levels ended up being. After those levels, we finally made it back to the pier, and I got all my progress back and then some without any silly mistakes. But now I had to get through the coast levels. These levels are nothing to goof around when 100%ing them. The beginning of Coast 1 is foreshadowing what the rest of these levels would be like. Narrow pathways and sandwiches around every corner. Thankfully, as long as we remain patient and steer clear of every enemy we can, it's not a huge problem. But Coast 2 is a very different story. In this level, there's these boxes. Do you remember them? They slam on the ground, are so loud, make my neighbor's dog start barking. But to get all the snacks and to get the monster token in this room, we need to push this button to turn these boxes off to safely walk on them. The problem with this is right here. Usually when you stop the boxes, this life preserver is the only way up, and it's blocked by a witch. But what's even more dangerous is the sandwich. I had no idea if the life preserver was safe to ride up, so I decided to go for a speed run trick that allowed me to get to the top without the life preserver. But the catch is that I have to do this trick while the boxes are still moving, since when they stop, they're too high to jump up to. And you aren't supposed to stand on these guys when they move, so it's possible I could still die from these things like this. But I decided it was worth the risk, and I knew it would be possible to do it. I think. Lord. Okay. No! Ah! I didn't know the invisible. Ah! Why, dude? That was so stupid. Why? Why did you do that? How do I get past that, actually? How do I even do that? By the way, to pour more salt on the wound here, I found out later that you can ride up the life preserver, no problem. So that's fun. Wish I'd tried that sooner. Thank you, fixed camera angles. Depth perception is so helpful. And I wouldn't see any more progress until attempt 178. All right. Nice. All right, I want to be really careful. Okay.
Nope. 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 Nope.
Oh my God. All right, there we go. And afterwards, I just carefully glided through Coast 3 to get that level's monster token and 100% the level set. New PB. That's what we're talking about. Now, the lighthouse levels. These are deceptively some of the most challenging levels we'll encounter. Lighthouse 1, we have already cleared from getting the Super Smash earlier, but Lighthouse 2 and 3 are tricky. Both have a lot of hazards like the hooks and the enemies and the sandwiches. I still can't get over the fucking sandwiches. All right. Holy shit, why do you throw tar so far? Okay, there's sandwiches here, we want to be careful. They're like in the middle of the arcs. Yeah, look at that. I might have to, I'll travel the other way. Toward the camera is a bad camera. No.
And by contributions to your PBS station from viewers.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Honestly, I don't even know like what. I guess this is the usual way to get over. Okay. Of course, now the boat's fucking moving. Hi, buddy. How you doing? All right. Well, I'm never doing that again. That was so unnecessary. All right, we did it. Whew. So now we're here. Where do I go? How do I get up here without getting a sandwich? Okay, what is this path looking like? Is it really just that first sandwich? Okay, and then you just hug. Oh! Why was the water so fast? I didn't even edit that. I think that's just casual. Why? Oh my god, I hit him. That was skill. Alright, let's go back to Lighthouse 2. Oh, there is like a... Okay, there's a lot of sandwiches in the middle of this room, but... Okay. Alright, is this fixed? Okay, cool, cool, cool. Alright, this level fucking sucks, bro. I don't know where... There's a sandwich here. No? There's something here. I don't know where it is. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Why are you so fast? And why are there 2 sandwiches right at the ends of the platform? All right, we'll just reload the room. It's no big deal. Honestly, maybe this isn't as good as I thought it was. How do I want to do this? Okay. With those levels cleared, it was time to go to the creepy levels and get the plunger's power up so we can walk on slippery slopes so that we can hundo later levels. But what's the most important thing is these gum pickups here in Creepy 3. This level always loads in with these pickups and has a warp gate to instantly travel here. This will be a very important refill station to get more gum, which we'll be using a lot in the coming levels. So I wanted access to this level now. But these creepy levels suck. You think these lighthouse levels sucked? These are garbage. No room to move around. So many stupid obstacles. But this first level has the worst snack box we will face in this entire challenge. There is a hidden, sneaky snack box behind this pillar. And honestly, I don't even know the intended way to get there. Probably on the platform and then just walk off of it and then jump out of it. But there's death all around here. And so I'm not gonna risk that. Honestly, I had no idea how I was gonna do this and I was just ill prepared. Oh my god, dude. Why is there a sandwich right above the Moody's head? Oh god. How am I supposed to get this fucking box? I don't know what the best way to go about this. Dude, that's so scary though. No! I'm never listening to you again! I'm never listening to you again! Ah!
A few minutes later.
Okay. See, the problem is like now it's so easy because we figured it out, but there's no way I could have like tested it and figured it out in the thing, which is like a bummer. It's like so easy now, bro. Oh my god. All right, well, great. But I mean, now at least I have some kind of strategy. I just need to get back there. And this is where we reached a drought in direct progress. These attempts are taking an exorbitant amount of time. For reference, that last attempt alone was nearly 2 whole hours. And playing perfectly for that long just to get a new personal best, it's exhausting, especially with TTS on.
Hey,
Okay, we're
Coley,
good.
remember the other day we were talking about how much you love pegging?
No, I didn't actually talk about that at all.
You don't have to lie to the chat, Coley. You can be honest.
I did. By this point, I knew the challenge would be a way bigger ordeal than I was ever anticipating, and I was getting burnt out. But it wasn't all bad. There were some things keeping me out of the poopy pants mentality. I was getting really consistent at so many parts of the run, but I was most proud of Redbeard. I was so comfortable with this boss fight, I could just let my muscle memory do the work and even talk with chat during the fight, which I could never do before. But stream after stream, there was just no personal best. And to me at the time, that meant no progress. Looking back, it actually was progress. I was getting better at the parts I already knew so that I could reach even further levels that I wasn't even thinking about yet. And in the end, it was worth it. Because even after this annoying end of my PB, attempt 212 was a huge step in the right direction. Let's just do it first thing and just rip the fucking band-aid off. Let's wait for this Moody Ghost to actually get to the center. Okay. Okay, great. Phew. All right, that is the scary part. It feels so nice to get that box. Instant relief. I was hoping for smooth sailing into the manor levels, but the next level proved to be more of a challenge than I anticipated. Okay, let's think about this. There's a gargoyle. Let's just gum that fucker. Okay. All right, what is the situation here? There's gonna be 2 zombies walking in this hallway. All right. Okay. Hi. I'm just gonna talk to you so then you don't do anything. You can see me through this gate? I don't know, can I see these zombies through here? Like, oh. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, but you both got confused. That's fantastic. Wait. That's perfect. And then I can... Okay, I was really wondering how I was gonna get that box, but that works out really well. Okay, and then you're right there. Holy shit. All right, I'm just gonna gum you again. Although I don't really like that you're by the entrance. Okay, so you're all over there. I need that key, dude, fuck! I don't know what to do. I seriously don't know what to do. No, I'm not gonna risk it. This is bad. Okay, where's the other zombie? Fuck! Oh, okay. Dude, what do I do? Fuck, man. Kill them? I'm really scared to kill them. I don't know exactly where they're gonna respawn. Okay, run the fuck out of here right now. Okay. Let's do this. I need to be quick in this room. Whew. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. And then my plan, here's my plan. Ugh, okay. And then just let this animation play out right here. So then in case anything happens, it'll be fine. Okay, now ideally we should have... We can look in here. Okay, perfect. We have 5 snacks remaining in there, which is good because I know exactly where they are. They're in this room here, and it's to the secret lab door. Perfect. We've basically hundoed Creepy. I am so happy because now we get to Hundo Manor. There are so many advantages and disadvantages to 100%ing these manor levels. On one hand, these levels should be pretty easy since they're usually played at the very beginning of the game, and we have most of the power-ups that you would get after entering these levels. However, there's 2 huge problems that we'll have to overcome in basically all of these levels. One is how closed off everything is. Like the problem with Creepy 2. These levels are almost exclusively skinny hallways, meaning no room to move around. Furthermore, these levels are very infamous for their use of enemy spam. There are enemies everywhere, and they're just ready to get in our way. It's like walking through a subway. Not that subway, the other fucking, goddamn it. And this is the prime example of why gum is so important to us and why I wanted that refill station. We're gonna use a lot. Clamor is the first level set, and they're pretty straightforward. You just kill or gum the enemies when it's most convenient. So, Clamor's done. Now, it's mind your manners. The first hurdle is these snacks here. They're right above a sandwich and right underneath the loading trigger for the shortcut. And if I hit the load trigger and still fall into the sandwich, the death will still occur when I load into the next room. Also, this is the camera angle I'm working with. Like, why, game? I ignored them completely when we were going to the Black Knight boss fight, but I can't ignore them any longer, and I was not looking forward to this. Okay. Fuck, dude. This is the part that sucks. Ah, okay, I don't want to enter there, but cool. Phew. All right, I'm not looking forward to this level. Oh, man, that sliding floor. Let me gum this. Oh, wait, I just realized I missed a lot of snacks there. Don't like that is... I love... It's fine. So, while we died in the dumbest way possible, we got really far this PB. To me, that made up for all the work I put in to even get there. And it may sound crazy, but for what we have coming up next, I wanted to use this downfall to my advantage. But how? What if I told you that my midlife crisis from earlier was actually one of the best things to ever happen in this challenge? And let me explain. So now that I know that I can start 100%ing Manor, I knew I could make way bigger progress if I was only able to practice the levels before I got there in a real run. And I got pretty lucky living through those creepy levels, considering I had never been there before. But back when I was in my mid-challenge crisis, I happened to go through all of the Manor levels in the middle of a real run. Therefore, according to the rules set by chat, I am freely able to practice most of the Manor levels, meaning I will know what to expect in the coming levels, and ideally, I could score a huge PB. But during all of these attempts, a question kept bugging me in the back of my mind. How close am I to 100%ing this game? Like, I know I have to be like halfway done with it, right? But we're not doing this game in any normal order. And the only way to check how much I have done is to save the game. But I'm not allowed to do that. So for future runs, we added a percentage counter to the mod, which will tell me exactly what percentage I am and when. And this may seem small, but looking back, this was extremely uplifting for knowing how far we've gotten. According to the math, I was around 53% complete with the game, which is great. For only having to collect the rest of the Scooby Snacks and monster tokens, being a little over halfway done is really nice to hear. But to think though that all of this work and I'm only halfway done, but I'm stubborn. And I know we have a great runway to launch forward and beat this challenge once and for all. I just can't quit now. All right, I don't feel like we need to farm gum. Let's just go to Manor. All right, Manor is gonna be chill. Perfect. Oh, it's 54. My best is actually 54, my bad. All right, here we go. This is what I practiced. All right, now these guys don't go past this carpet. Okay, cool. That was admittedly risky. I meant to kill that witch, but oh well. But there we go. There's that part done. Hopefully this is all snacks collected from Mind Your Manners. Alright, cool, 56%. Alright, I'm glad that I practiced these upstairs levels. Alright, there we go, 58%. I haven't really practiced these levels that much, so I really don't know what to expect from this point onward. Alright, so I'm gonna swing. And I can glide all the way over to here. And there's nothing over by that creeper, so there we go. That we have all the items now. That's every single item collected in the game. All right, Black Knight is kind of scary being right here, I'm not even gonna lie. But if we do some careful maneuvering, there we go. He's not that bad. Whoopsie daisy. Okay. All right, cool. That should be 64%? 63, okay. All right, let's hundo this room. This room is not gonna be fun, I'm not gonna lie. All right, so, can I gum? Cool. All right, there is a spider walking around here. All right, man, this spider's hard to see. I'm getting lowish on gum. Hi, you didn't get gummed. How about you get gummed now? Okay. Alright, and I don't think there's... yeah. Cool. Okay. Alright, I was like, so let's go into Act 2. We're gonna go into some uncharted territory now. Yeah, it's probably way better that we go the intended way. Nice. Okay, now there's... one witch doctor. Then there's a bat flying around here. I didn't know that's where the bat was. So as you can see, being able to practice these levels helped me soar through Manor. And from this point on, I decided to make practicing a top priority. Go figure, right? So before I did any attempts to PB, the next attempt, I just beelined it to the Manor and went to the remaining levels that I had never been to before, just to unlock the ability to practice them. And it paid off, because 2 days later... All right, we haven't been here since the last time. These are the levels we've been practicing for.
Scooby Snacks.
That worked out. Ooh-ah! Don't want that sandwich. Don't want that sandwich. All right. All right. Yeah, beautiful, 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 beautiful. We are cruising for a bruising right now, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Not the rooftops because of the plungers. It's silly. All right. And then we got a nice strat right here. All right, I need to watch out for...
Scooby Snacks.
Good. Ooh, yeah, nice. I'll do it in a sec. There we go, 69, funny number. There we go, chat. We're about to go into some uncharted territory here that I'm really not looking forward to, which are the ship levels. The shipwreck levels are notoriously difficult platforming levels that are the intended way to get to the Redbeard boss fight. And I never got the chance to get to like any of these levels because, well, we skipped them and they're so far out of the way. So I'm going pretty much blind when it comes to 100%ing these levels. Poor camera angles, hazardous water all around us, any mistake could cost our life. The only positive is that these levels provide open space and not too many enemies, which is a breath of fresh air. I admittedly didn't think I would get to this point, but now it's time to face these levels head on. Now, I have a very interesting thing to do. There's actually a snack up there that I need to get. Maybe I could like get the attention of the... Okay, nice. And then maybe I can like... Well, that might be the best way to do it. Maybe. I definitely don't like the way that I did that, though. Well, we're here now, so this is the level that everybody talks about that they hate. I'm gonna play this level super casually. There's a lot of, like, fancy tricks and stuff I can do here, but there we go. I think I got every snack. All right, so how do we want to do this room, though? Wowzers, I really... How on earth am I supposed to get this shit? Every spot that she can be in is like horrible. I'm a little too scared to... Oh my god, that wind actually helped me. Woo! Okay, there's no way that we can... We gotta do this. Some nice speed running. All right, I do not like the way I did that at all. Yeah, I'll come up with a better strat, surely. But there we go, that's all snacks collected. So 69 best is already over. Okay, now we know where that witch spawns. All right, so there's problem number one. There is a soap clip I can actually do here if I really wanted to. I don't really find that it's gonna be particularly useful right now. All right, so here's what I need to do. This is true, we do need to, oh. Uh-huh. Well, I guess, yeah, we're doing the soap clip. There we go. Okay, and then I think... All right, and then we're gonna walk all the... Or wait, do I want to walk all... Yeah, I do. I want to walk all the way around. All right, this is an incredibly scary leap of faith right here. Okay. Well... Okay. It's time to do pause storage. Nope, we're still, we could still do this. We could still do this. All right. This could be the end of this attempt, or this could be just the beginning. Okay. That's not fair. I unplugged the controller and the emulator crashed out of everything that I could have possibly imagined. I would have never imagined the emulator would crash because I tried to unplug the controller. I mean, I didn't make a save state. There's nothing to go back to. It's just over. That's how the attempt happened. Crash out when he dies, taken literally. I really don't know what to say. I am so beyond a crash out now. I'm like in shock. I'm just in shock. We just had 3 more levels to go through, man. God damn it. Did I need to do that soap clip? All right, let me just take a look. Let's assess the situation here for a second. This isn't happening. 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 This is not happening. This is not happening. There's no way. There's no way no. No, 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 no. No, no. No, you're telling that's just not possible. That's not true. That's not possible. That's not true. That's not possible. That's not possible! Oh. Oh, man. After I had this crash out, all I kept thinking was, oh my God, when the hell am I even ever gonna get back here? This took me 2.5 hours of perfect gameplay in this attempt alone, just to get me all this way, and then the emulator crashed on me? I was sweaty, greasy, tired, angry, and I just called it a night. But then the following day, I came back with a plan. My next attempt, I would enter the only level I have never been to on this side of the map, which was the deck of the pirate ship. I wasn't sure how challenging this level would be, but I thought I might as well just enter the level on my way to Redbeard so that after that attempt, I could practice it and be prepared for a run after a gas 2, whenever that would be. Also, before I did any attempts, I practiced the hell out of a gas 2, which this is one of the most dangerous levels in the whole game. The hardest part, we didn't even get to in the run. This insane platform section under the deck is super scary. If you don't know what you're doing here, it's an instant death trap. Thankfully, because of speedrunning, I knew the pattern in which the platforms move, but these sandwiches are really the thorns in my side. Who's making all of these sandwiches? To get back to where I was, I figured it was gonna take a long time, and I figured I might as well get started. We went to the ship deck, beating Redbeard, getting the soap, beat the Black Knight, started collecting the snacks, got past creepy, so that's good. And then we got through the bottom floor, all right. Then we got to upstairs. Oh my God, this is a run. And then we got to attic. Holy shit. And then we cleared the rooftops. And just like that, we're already back. Wait, why am I only at 67%? Shouldn't I be at 69? I completely forgot about Pier. There we go, funny number. All right, this is where the fun begins. Very nice. And I did that sandwich right there. After all of this. Here we go. okay, that's okay. Let's do that. Boom. Oh, whoa, wait, hey. Let's take a chill. Let's take a chill. All right. Whew, man, it feels good to get out of that room. Perfect. And then all we need to do is get this one snack and wreck, and we should be at 73%. There we go, 73%. Yeah, so we still need to do Shiver, but otherwise everything else in this side of the map is completely done. So let's go try and do Shiver. All right, I'm really concerned about that center platform there, I'm not gonna lie. Nice. This should be 100% the room. Very nice, very nice. Already a new personal best, we got 75. Okay, this level isn't that bad. We've got this whole side done. This is historic. It felt so nice being done with those levels. And I did it in the very next attempt after this. And I was so close to victory. The next levels on the route are finishing this side of the map, the hedge maze. Ugh, okay, that looks like a lot of levels, but it's not too bad because we've already been through most of these levels and we've already got a lot of the snacks in here. We're really just coming back to sweep through the rest, so that's a plus. The levels I was the most concerned about here were these levels, especially Hill 1. That was the level I died in at the start of this challenge. These levels are notoriously cramped, with danger coming at you from every angle. I wasn't expecting to get here so soon, so I was pretty ill prepared for the levels to come, but I had no choice, and I decided to start from the very beginning of the hedge maze levels. All right, we pretty much have this level already down pat. It's weird that I've been in this level twice, and for some reason it's more terrifying the third time. Hello. Sandwich. Yep, we're here at everybody's favorite part. There he is, after all this work. Right, we just got fireballs, 77, new best. Alright, this part is actually gonna suck a lot, but we'll see how it goes. Honestly though, the last time I was here, I didn't have the umbrella and like... Okay, there is a sandwich at the end, we gotta remember that. Now that I have the umbrella, this should ideally be much easier. There we go. Shouldn't that... Oh, wait. It's not... Wow. Are you kidding me? I, like, barely hit the wall. I should have definitely not just glided all the way over there. Despite that annoying death, I was relieved. This was a huge confidence boost for me. It felt great to know that I could get to this point so quickly, and it felt like I was so close to the end. Ha! How unbearably naive. Next day, no PB was even in sight, but I needed that initial encouragement because it helped me prepare to make a new plan. So besides the lab levels where the mastermind is hiding, I've been to all but 2 levels here, which are these crypt levels. These levels are dead ends and just more Scooby Snacks for me to collect. Yippee. So during an attempt, I decided to take a short detour on the way to Green Ghost and just quickly entered these rooms. Great, now I can practice all the levels in the hedge maze, and I was sure that the next time I would get here, I would not die. So I spent a ton of time practicing the hell out of any level that could cause me trouble. I felt so prepared, so ready to conquer the rest of this section. But days came and went. Next day, failure. The next day, failure. The next day, oh, nope, that's a failure. I was getting crushed. And I had done all this practice, and for what? Just to die again? I was becoming a husk of my former self. I was stuck in an endless state of purgatory. My last PB was attempt 237, and now I'm at 273, a whole week and 50 attempts later. Let's watch this cutscene. I've done this quite a bit in practice, so hopefully I don't make the same mistake again. There's still a lot that can go wrong even after I do this section of the room, so... Here we go. And there we go. But there we go. That should be this room. So this is technically a new PB. There we go, 79%. And with the greenhouse levels cleared, it was time to die in Hill 1. And granted, it is a tricky level, you know, as we mentioned before, so wait, oh my god, I did it! Wow! Practicing levels so overpowered, that's crazy. From here on out, we just rapid-fired hundoing these levels, thanks to the practice and having collected a bunch of snacks here earlier. Hill, Skull Cliff, Misbehavin', Tight Spot, one after the other. We got up to 87% complete at Crypt, which is where my next hurdle popped up. We're gonna rip the band-aid off, and we're gonna do it right now. There's a gargoyle here, and there's like a snack line that is right by, like, all these snacks. Now, the nice thing, though, is that this gargoyle spends a really long time gummed or soaked. So what I can possibly do, if I'm good at the game, is soak the gargoyle just at the right moment, so then I can more easily get the snacks around that sandwich in the top right corner. Okay, cool. This guy stays... for a while. Woof. Okay, great. All right, that is the scariest part of this room. All we have left now should just be that. Okay, so that's snacks, though. Oh my god. All right, cool. There we go. So 89%. We are making strides here, people, and this should be all snacks. Nice, 90%, guys. Look at that. Woohoo! So we've 100%ed this entire side of the room. This entire side of the map. Yep. We've 100%ed this. We've 100%ed all of this. Everything. Yep. Okay. And we've 100%ed all of this over here. Beautiful. We've got all the items. So, all we need to do is hundo these levels right here. We're going to do a kind of a strange route. To clear the basement, we need to go through 3 level sets. The creepy levels, the gust levels, and the cellar levels. The nice thing about these levels, like the hedge maze, is that we've already been through here to get the soap, so we have way less snacks to collect, which is pretty convenient. However, these levels have 2 dangerous spots in particular. One is these swinging axes in Gust 1, and these ghosts flying around everywhere in Cellar 3. But I can get through this part pretty safely by abusing the locations of these warp gates and this secret entrance. First, we'll clear the fire and enter Gust 1. Then, we'll just ignore Shaggy and enter through this door, which leads to... ta-da! It's Cellar 3! But there's a gate in the way, which opens from the other side. And well, just like with the hedge gate, we can also use lag clips to get through and collect the final snacks in the cellar levels. Now, for the rest of the basement, we'll help Shaggy collect the snacks and get to these axes. And my strategy to get through these axes is to just no. Nope. Bye-bye. See, there's no snacks in between these swinging axes. There's only snacks after them. And because of this skip we saw 300,000 years ago, we've actually been to the level directly after the axes. So we'll just turn around, warp to part 2, and come back to this level backwards. Going backwards through levels is very overpowered. A creeper will bust out of this door. Hi. There it is, 95%. Let's go. I really like that plan for the most part. The time has finally come. We are so close to reaching the final boss and beating the game. Only 5% of the game is left, but we still need to get to the secret lab. And to enter it, we have to go through the creepy hallways and soap these bats to get to the door and the final snack box in the basement. But one hit from these bats will put an end to everything we have worked so hard for. Oh, okay, nice. Whew. Okay, and there we go. That's 97%. Yay! All right, so now that we're at 97%, all we need to do is Hundo Lab. That's all we got to do. So this is very exciting stuff. The lab levels are all very unique and each have their own ups and downs, with electricity everywhere, pools of deadly acid, and tougher enemies. This was not going to be a walk in the park. What's worse, I've never been here before. I am going into the hardest levels in the endgame, completely clueless and ill-prepared. But the only thing I could do was charge forward and try my hardest. Thankfully, things started off easy in Lab 1, mainly due to this jump where we can skip the puzzle and avoid the electric floors entirely. Now, in Lab 2, we make a quick detour with this wall climb to look at the super expensive snack gate I am hopefully about to pay. So here's this fun snack gate. 6,684, but I'm just gonna glide back down here. And you probably saw that text that flashed for a bit. That is text that's just gonna tell you like, hey, if you don't have all the power-ups, you need all the power-ups. All right, so this is the scary room. This is the room I might honestly just die in. And if I do, but I need to collect these snacks. Ow. This is a pickle. I just retreat. Woo! Glad I did that. After that shocking situation, we treaded cautiously, getting the rest of the goodies in Lab 2, climbing our way to the top in Lab 3, getting the final monster token, and gliding down to get the final snack boxes to pay off this mod's mortgage. All right, this should be 100%. Or not. What? 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 And my math's wrong. Can I pay the gate? Oh, I do have one. No, please, 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 please. Oh, this is very satisfyingly intense. Okay. Thank God we're invincible for a little bit. But that was really fun to see all those snacks go down. Okay, well, that really sucks that that glitch occurs. I'm not really sure why the no snacks collected didn't even show up. Technically, we don't need to collect these snacks, but I feel like I've gone this far, so I should just collect these snacks, right? Okay, well, now it says 99%, so I guess it's technically there. All right, you know what? Screw Shaggy. I don't care about this guy. Let's just do this. Oh, we don't need Shaggy. We don't need Shaggy, for goodness sakes. But all right, here we go. So the mastermind is going to be very different. We're at 99%. Dude, why did I pause? Why? No. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. I could reset I could do the save state again, right? I could redo the save state. I could do the save state. No, guys, that didn't count. There's no way that counted. Can I please? Oh, okay. Woo, wow, look at that. Holy shit. Oh my God. We're back. Oh, man. Okay, so I know that looks bad, but let me break the tension by saying this obviously didn't count. This is easily the most embarrassing moment of my entire career. I am making an apology video as we speak. But the reason why I did that is I really just wanted to show the chat the new and unfortunately improved final boss fight. This boss is just so unfathomably different, and that you know what? Let me just show you. If you're not aware, this is the mastermind. Here's what the fight usually looks like. Defeat enemy waves, press the button 3 times, then mastermind comes down, you knock him into the electricity, you win the game. But here's what it looks like in this mod. All right. Look at this. I can't step on the red floor. I can't step on the red floor. It'll hurt me if I do. The floor is lava, yes. So I gotta make sure. I might die. Damn it! Ah! I was expecting this and it still hurts. It still hurts my soul. So for now, the 99% best will stain this stream layout. We are right there. But how do you even tackle this boss fight? The enemies have double the hits. Scooby's stun animation is so long. I have to kill the robots in the specific order of headbutting them, then ground pounding them. I mean, like, there's also how long the floor is safe for, the buttons, the enemies respawning, and the electricity guarding the buttons. They're all on a timer. And this is just the first part of the boss fight. And I got to this point after 4 hours on this attempt alone. I knew that this was gonna be nuts. And I decided right then and there, in the midst of all that pain that I was feeling, the next time I get back to this boss fight, it must be the last time I am at this boss fight. I would not rest until I get so consistent at that boss fight that I will win before I even enter through the door. If I was to get to that point again and fail, I would become a psychopath. So in the streams that followed, I spent days trying to figure out a way to beat the boss fight in the best way possible. And it was all about timing. This boss fight could be summarized as a balancing act, where I need to hit the enemies in a certain way at certain times to ensure that I could not only avoid dying to the enemies, but the environment as well. The amount of trial and error that went into this boss fight is so astronomical, it seems impossible for me to describe it cohesively to you. Like, this was the theoretical physics of Scoob. The core problem of this boss fight was trying to sync up when I should defeat the enemy waves to turn off the electricity, but to also make sure I had enough time to press both buttons. Eventually, I did find a rhythm and got everything on a timed cycle, but this cycle was extremely difficult to do, and I needed to hit everything at exactly the right time, and one mistake would make for a very difficult recovery. And of course, mistakes were very easy to make, mainly because of 2 tiny little oversights the devs made, which led to huge problems. The first problem was with the gum, which, while I've sung its praises, one problem with the gum is that it has an auto-targeting system that locks onto anything that is an NPC. The problem is, this is an NPC. This is too. Hell, all of these guys are too. Every character is an NPC, and they are just standing in the room with me. I would find myself wanting to gum an enemy, but instead, in all of Scooby's infinite wisdom, decided to gum the mastermind, or his own friends cheering him on. What an asshole! But it was getting super frustrating because it felt too out of my control. But the other annoying problem is the robot stun animation. For some reason, it's possible for this animation to get done extremely early, to the point where I don't even get a chance to attack. And no one is exactly sure why this even happens. In reality, there's probably like a bajillion things that cause this, but it's just beginning to seem like a mystery that I couldn't solve. Every one of these problems could happen at any moment. I mean, how could you manage it all? But I was beginning to go crazy. And after so much time with no progress, I decided I needed to go right to the source and open the game files. Yeah. This level editor app could tell me the exact time everything takes to happen. The time it takes for enemies to respawn, the buttons to deactivate, the floors to change, and Mortal, the guy who helped me create this mod, noticed something that at first, it didn't really click for me. But based on how everything is timed out in each phase, theoretically, I should always have time to press both buttons without the electricity shocking me. But that didn't seem possible. Like, how could that be? Well, when I hit the buttons, I always felt the need to press them one after the other immediately. But that actually isn't the case. I soon find out that if I timed it well, I could press the first button, wait for the electric floor, and then then make it to the second button without the phase resetting. And this was huge. That means I could kill the enemies at any point as long as I could get to a safe spot in time after pressing the first button. And this automatically means that my other two issues can be quickly solved. So even though I couldn't figure out how these robots got up so fast, I could just run away and deal with it when a safer opportunity arises. And with the gum, I can now afford to take a more thorough approach where I can make sure I can gum the enemies while facing the left side of the room. Again, at first I didn't really understand all this, but soon it clicked. And then I was beating this boss fight in practice 5 times in a row. And I thought it was time to start doing some runs again and actually beat this mod. I got set up and started attempt 289, my first run of the day. Not today, Satan. Not today. Okay. We got this. 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 Empty your head. Empty your thoughts. You are just your muscle memory right now. You are just your muscle memory. You did this like 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row in practice. You're good. Good to go. You're good. You're good. You've got this. You've got this. You've got this. If you die, it's okay. We've been here twice, all right? Please, 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 please. We're good. We're good. Bless up. We're blessing up right now. Stay calm. Stay calm. Just chill. Don't even think about anything. Just keep it slow and chill. You're in control. You are in control. You're 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 good. You're in control. You got it. You're good. You're in control. 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 Everything's good. You're in control. You're in control. You're in control. You're in control. You're good. You're good. Good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Now wait for yellow. Okay. Run, run, run. Nice. Okay. You're in control. You're good. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Okay, not an ideal spawn. Okay. Keep it under control. Yes! Oh my god, I did it! Oh yes! I did it! Woo! It's over! Oh! It's over! Yes! Oh my god! Oh! I did it! First person defeats this mod legit. This was the first attempt of the day. This was the first attempt of the day, and I did it. Oh my god. I'm just shaking right now. My god, this is easily the hardest thing I have ever done in this game. Ever. This was like 4 hours of doing this game, like, for a month, dude, every day. Wah, wah. All right, here we go. Currently 100%. I think we need to talk to this guy.
The grass is always greener on the other side.
Whoa, you defeated Mastermind. And what's this? Holy fuck! Even Donut's a surprise. I know. You actually beat the game without saving or getting hurt. I didn't think it was possible. I suppose you deserve a reward. Here, have this trophy as proof of beating the challenge. You've earned it. And there's confetti. And we did it.